Okay, my friends, here it is. The video that is going to super simplify your life when it comes to storing the harvest of tomatoes. So, I'm going to say some things about it and then take you in the kitchen and show you how to make this super delicious and versatile substance. Now, for many years, I toiled in the kitchen, doing it the traditional way of taking each tomato and dipping it in the boiling water and then blanching it and then the ice water and removing the skin and then maybe putting it through a food mill where you have to then press out the seeds and all of that stuff, because the seeds and the skin can be really fibrous in the pasta sauce or the pizza sauce, whatever it is you're making. But that took forever, which is fine, totally fine if it's like something you do with your mom and your grandma and it's like tradition, you got a bunch of people helping and you got all day to do it, that's fine, no problem. But for me, I needed to get it from the garden to the storage as quickly and efficiently as possible while still maintaining the utmost purity of flavor. And so to do that, I have developed a method that you will see here shortly. Now remember guys, with all super good things, it's gotta be simple. So you will see here how we do this. Then at the end, with all of this simplicity in mind, I will show you my number one way I love to prepare this stuff, at least once a week, all winter long. Okay, my friends, first thing we gotta do is get us some of these tomatoes. Now, as you will see, this year I have done the method where I just put down the landscaping fabric and then let the tomatoes sprawl. Contrary to popular belief, tomatoes do not need to be trellised. They're actually more like a vine, and they tend to be healthier and produce more if they just sprawl. This is the third harvest of such off of 6 plants. So we're going to wash the tomatoes now. Even if you're fully organic, you still want to wash them because you don't want any surprises into the sauce, any grit or anything like that. So we're going to be using a combination of paste tomatoes, the aroma and the Amish paste, and then also some Cherokee purples. And they're going to give it a unique type of sweetness and earthiness. So we're going to slice the tomatoes open just to check, because sometimes you'll get a nasty little surprise of like some blackness inside some of them, but these all look really good. Then we're going to put them into the blender. So the next step is we're going to take some of the good homegrown garlic. Yes, guys, nice and pungent and full of those sulfuric compounds. And this stuff is going to last all winter long. And so we're going to take about 5 cloves, give or take, per blender full. So you're just going to put it in there, peeled, of course. And in each blender, we're going to use 1 teaspoon of the sea salt. Just pink Himalayan salt, Celtic sea salt, whatever it is. Just make sure it's not table salt that has been iodized and stripped of all of its minerals. Now here's the game changer, guys. We're going to use our blender to liquefy everything, all them seeds, all that skin, all that stuff that used to take hours and hours to remove all that. We're just going to crank up this blender and we're going to let it all liquefy. Now I've got a Vitamixer that works really well. Maybe I'll put a link in the description to the exact one that I have, but if you don't have a Vitamixer, that's okay. Now we're going to pour it into our stock pot, and you can see it's a nice viscous slurry. And when you're working with tomatoes, always utilize the low heat, guys. You do not want to burn them. So put it on low and work in batches. Each batch has got us 4 or 5 cloves of the garlic and 1 teaspoon of the sea salt. So we're pouring it into there, and you will notice straight away that there appears to be a lot of foam. So some people that have tried this method goes, oh, it makes it too foamy. But watch, guys, watch the transformation. Here we are about 3 hours later, and the foam is starting to thicken up. But do not skim off the foam. Do not skim off the foam. Just leave it all to steep, because here we are about 10 hours later, guys, and look, it's reduced by about 1/3, and it's nice and thick and flavorful and dark and rich in color, and it's so soft and velvety. There's no chunks, there's no skin. This stuff is divine. So now it comes time to preserve it. And so for tomatoes, I've always just used a hot water bath. There's no need to pressure can it, but you can. So here we're going to do the hot water bath, and we're going to get it on medium heat, about 3 inches of water into our pot. And I like to use one of these wire extractors because it just makes the process simpler. So we're going to get that on medium heat, starting to heat up the whole time our sauce is still simmering. We still want to leave it simmering. Now we're going to get all of our jars ready. I like the pint-sized jars because they make an ideal meal. And so the key is to get all of your ingredients, all of your things, your tools, the funnel and all of that stuff set up and put in place beforehand, because once you start the process, you want it to go kind of rapidly. You don't want to be messing around. So We've got, this is getting up to temperature on medium heat. We got our sauce still bubbling, so we're gonna ladle it into the 1 pint canning jars. Now you'll notice that the funnel goes in about 1/2 of an inch, and so that's a good gauge as far as how much head space you want to leave, because you have to leave a small amount of head space in these jars. And so you see we put it just to the bottom of the funnel, and now we got about 1/2 inch of space. We're gonna wipe the rim to make sure that there's no debris on the rim, and then we're gonna put the lid on. And when we do that, we're just gonna put it finger tight, pretty tight, but you don't have to torque it down or anything. You don't wanna buckle it out. So now we're just going to do all of the rest of them. And when we put them in there, it's going to be nice and gentle like this. It's not boiling yet. It doesn't need to be. So here's the thing, guys. If you don't have enough sauce to fill all of the pint jars, then place an empty one with no lid on it full of water to take the place, because we don't want them rattling around. But here we have plenty of sauce. So we're going to go ahead and fill it full. All 7 is going to go in there. And then we're going to add preheated water, preferably, like boiling water. And this is important. We want to make sure that they are covered by about 2 inches of water. This is important. Make sure that the tops are covered like this. Now we are going to put the lid on, and we're going to crank it to about medium high, and then we're going to set the timer for 1 hour. Now this is going to bring it up to boiling. So after about 12 minutes or so, 15 minutes, it's boiling like this very rapidly. Okay, 12, 13 minutes. So now we're going to take it down to about medium, a little bit under medium. And because we don't need a super rolling boil, we just need a gentle boil. Then we're going to put that lid back on and leave it. And so here we are 47 minutes later. Everything is still functioning great. So now we're going to shut it off, take the lid off, and set the timer for 15 minutes. We're going to let it die down for about 15 minutes. Now, I like to put a towel over it just in case there's a little bit of a spritz from the hot, piping hot liquid. But you're going to hear now, at this point, as they cool down, you're going to hear the lids go plump, pluck, pluck. And that is the signal that they are storing, that they are sealing. You want to hear that. You want that suction. So then you can store them in the basement or wherever it is for several months, even several years, and it will be perfectly good, guys. This is a very versatile sauce. Now here's how you use it. So now when it comes time to utilize this stuff, here's how we're going to do it. All winter long we can make some of this deliciousness, and we are going to start by putting 1 onion and 4 or 5 garlic cloves into a bed of olive oil. Now is when we add the oregano. We don't add it when we're making the sauce. We add it now. And so the key is to infuse the sauce with the flavors of the garlic and the onion and the oregano. That's what it's all about. So you gotta let it simmer for a little while so that the oil then becomes infused. Now we're gonna put some of this grass-fed, grass-finished, 100% pastured ground beef into the mix, and we're gonna flatten it down and let it sort of brown. And then we're gonna take some of the sea salt, and guys, do not fear the real deal sea salt. Salt to taste, full of 82 different minerals that the body needs. Now we can see that everything is coming along nicely. I don't like it to be too done, so at this point we're going to chop up some of the fermented garlic scapes, guys, that are super delicious. They're going to give like a caper, maybe an olive type flavor, and those are really nice, and they last all winter. So you can see it's still nice and pink. And now at this point we are going to bust open one of the sauces that we have had, and we're going to pour it in there, and we're just going to gently stir it around. And look at how deep and vibrant those colors are, guys, full of vitamins and minerals and everything good from the garden. You will love midwinter when you can bust open one of these things and have the essence of summer at your fingertips and your taste buds. So look at how succulent this is, guys. This is as good as it gets. Very simple, very well done. Now we're going to take our pasta, and I like to cook it al dente so that we can then let it finish in the sauce like this, and it can absorb all them flavors and the liquid and the oil and all the infused goodness. Then we're going to put some of that raw cheese on there, guys, and we are going to grub. About once a week all winter long we'll be eating this. So there you go, my friends. Now you know how to make the secret sauce. So leave in the comments how you like to make your sauce or what you like to do with your sauce. And if you gain something from the video, give it a thumbs up. Share the video with anyone that needs this knowledge. And if you have any questions, you can put them either in the comments or preferably join us every Saturday at 12 noon Eastern time. We have a live Q&A discussion right here at the Garden Like a Viking headquarters. So we will see you there. And if you are looking for another and even more divine way to store your tomatoes, I'll direct you to this video here, which will show you the ultimate way to ferment them.